Hello, hello. Welcome. I am in my divine masculine today, and I am streaming on two devices here, so you may see me look back and forth here. Where usually I'm in my divine feminine, I am in my divine masculine. You can see the voice is a little bit deeper. I'm growing this scruff here, and we'll be going through our first school course. That's exciting. That is Awakening the Inner Spark. Or I'm sorry, not Awakening the Inner Spark, Awakening the Inner Star. And this is going to be the first course at the School of Stars, or To Be a Star. On school, we'll drop the link in the chat for everybody to grab too. This is a live stream, so I'm doing this just kind of verbatim as I go through it. I would like to read a little something before we jump into the lesson for today, which will be lesson 1, The Spark, remembering who you are. And yeah, so my name is Kriss A, Starr, by the way. Most of you already know me, but I'm new to this school platform, so I'm bringing myself into this. I'll just give a little bit of an introduction of myself, who I am, what I'm about. In particular, I kind of feel like I'm just a dreamer. I have really powerful and vivid dreams, but all in all, I'm a creator dedicated to unlocking the power and potential of imagination through arts, technology, and storytelling. I love storytelling, poetry, stuff like that. I like to blend creative vision with forward-thinking design, and I develop experiences that inspire curiosity, connection, and empowerment. My background is in multimedia education, technology, digital storytelling, and innovative design, and I like to transform complex ideas into accessible, meaningful creations, from interactive learning experiences for kids to visually striking digital campaigns that celebrate creativity and cosmic wonder. So I'm driven by the belief that every project holds potential to expand minds and ignite passion. And my work bridges the gap between creativity and purpose. And I like to help others see their own limitless potential within themselves, hence to be a star. And that's what this course is all about, teaching you how to use the inner light within you, draw it from within you, and create a faith that is irreprehensibly unstoppable and keeps you inspired and motivated for years and years to come, and as well empowers those around you. So, before we jump into the lesson, I want to read a little bit from my magic book. And it's just a quick little snippet about my belief system, which is referred to as Omnist Universalism. So you can see here, an Omnist and a Universalist go hand in hand here in this practice. And when we say you're an Omnist, or you believe in Omnism, we're basically saying that you believe that every spiritual practice or religious perspective or philosophy has a little bit of truth to it, or if not a lot of truth to it. And you don't discriminate between religions or spiritual practices, essentially. When you say you're a universalist, or you believe in universalism, you're basically saying that there is no discrimination between religious perspectives, spiritual practices, or philosophies. Everybody is entitled to partake in their own spiritual practices or belief systems, and any type of person is welcome to join in any religious perspective. So bring the two together, and you have kind of a conjunction or conjuncture of all of these different spiritual practices, religions, philosophies, kind of tied together in a nice little knot, and we call that the Starr perspective, or Omnis Universalism in this case. So, I'm going to read a page and a half from the magic book. It is filled with wonder, this book, and it has a lot of substance to it, but I just want to talk real quick before I get into the lesson for today about how words have power. Words have power. They have a lot of power. Racers wouldn't know when to start without the announcer saying, "Start your engines," right? In most wars are won through the means of communique. And there is nothing more painful than words sometimes. Words inspire action, but action is not in the slightest irrelevant. And I say, do not doubt the power of words. They are powerful. And do not take these words with a grain of salt. What I will read here, rather, and what you'll hear is sacred. It's sacred knowledge. It's also esoteric. So you're getting the inside scoop for a new branching belief system, which is brought to you within this course at school and through my live stream on YouTube. So the next thing here is prefacing omnis universalism. So while words have power, omnis universalism is prefaced with faith. Faith being any type of practice or belief system that inspires and encourages your willpower or empowers others, including yourself. That intangible essence that you can't really grab onto, but you know it's there and it's pushing you forward. That kind of faith. So always have faith. And here we define faith. Faith is not omniscient, it's more reminiscent, like you're remembering it at every given moment. There is a reminder that you need to have faith, that in order to inspire yourself or keep going with what you're doing or keep yourself motivated, it's that faith driving you along, that the next moment it's going to be there for you to continue that, whatever you're doing or why you're doing it. Faith is not the only thing that is accentuated in omnis universalism. Faith is not a loop. It's more like compassion, fastened like a car seat for a child. So you're going to see a lot of figurative talk along with practical essence here, where it seems a little bit more poetic than it does realistic. But if you look through the lines about what it is that I'm actually trying to say, and you say, oh, there is a message there, you see the practicality and how you can apply it. Like, for example, this next line, which says, faith is often purple and often a hurdle. Turtles and rabbits all welcome to join. Well, we all remember the story about the tortoise and the hare and how slow and steady wins the race. So where it's practical, we say that faith needs time to grow. Time for slow, fast, and time to pace yourself. In life, faith is not a race, nor is it a chase. And that's where you slow down and you say, not always do you have to sit in place. And sometimes you lose faith. Sometimes every step you take is in good faith. Faith falls and rises just like that. Faith is the culmination of all good things, but yet you must take the good with the bad. So this practice is not just about faith. No, it is spiritual. And you've already seen it is words. Those words divulge into the very things that we need to hear and feel so that we can instill that very faith. So they divulge, that faith and that hope of which keeps us all here as we reach for a world without fear. So in this case, it's faith over fear. As a side note, it's also about human understanding. So one part compassion, another part conception, and another part maintaining a reception, much like I'm doing right now. So now that we have gotten a little bit about who I am out of the way and what I believe in, we'll jump into the lesson for today. And this is going to be a little bit of a self-guided lesson in that you may perform some activities on your own. I may give you some time to do that. You can pause the live stream if it comes down to it, or I may take a moment to actually do the activities with you. So without further ado, let's jump into lesson 1 for To Be a Star. At the School of Stars, Kriss A. Starr brings you to awakening your inner star with Course 1, Lesson 1, The Spark, Remembering Who You Are. Faith begins when you remember your light was never lost. This lesson is about guiding students in reconnecting with their inner brilliance, their spark. Through storytelling, reflection, and visualization, students will begin to see themselves as creative forces in partnership with the universe. The lesson overview is as such. Every star begins with a single spark, like that. A moment of ignition, invisible to the world, but infinite in potential. This lesson helps each participant find that spark within themselves again. Their why, their wonder, and their truth. If you remember, I said faith is not necessarily omniscient, it's more reminiscent. That's a big part of what this lesson is here to teach you, that you need to remember that spark in you. And it's not something you necessarily lost when you were a kid, or something that you can gain when you're an adult. It's always been there ever since the dawn of your creation. This spark is the essence of who we are as individuals, the light that gives each of us texture, and each of us our names in our corporeal forms. And as such, by the end of this lesson, each participant will have reconnected with a sense of purpose and their inner strength, written their own origin of my light story or poem, if you're into poems, and understood the first principle of the School of Stars, or rather, to be a star, you already are what you seek. So, section 1. This is the opening ritual, the call of the star. And the objective is to prepare your mind and hearts for self-discovery and connection to universal energy. So, before we jump into any spiritual manifesto or de facto, there is the idea of calming one's inner being and being present with yourself so that you know where you are in relation to the universe. Because relativity technically doesn't exist in the realm of philosophy and spirituality or religion. Relativity is saying that I'm here and you're there, but technically in the realm that we're existing in within this course, the realm of light, there is no relativity and there's nothing to describe where we currently are. So in order to center yourself, so to speak, you'll hear that a lot in transcendentalist spiritualities like Hinduism and Buddhism, is centering yourself, and these also have to do with chakras and such, which some of you may actually already be familiar with. And it basically means doing something to help bring yourself a calm that gives you control over the current moments. So in this case, we have some instructions that will help us to dive right into it and get that calm and that peace that we're searching for. So what you do, or what I can suggest you do, and you'll probably all find your own way to center yourselves or find this calm and get yourself ready for self-discovery, but I think a very straightforward, simplistic way to start is to begin in silence for 1 minute. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply and imagine drawing in starlight with each inhale. So, essentially, if you can envision yourself breathing in this stardust type particle, the starlight, the light around us, imagine yourself kind of glowing and breathing in those particles within to yourself as you breathe. And then as you exhale, imagine releasing all shadows of doubt and whisper softly to yourself, I am made of stars and I am remembering my light. So do this for about a minute, and then I encourage you all to write one word or phrase that comes to mind just after your meditation. So meditation can last anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes, depending how you're feeling, but we'll do it for a minute, get that inner sanctity that we're looking for, and then we'll proceed forward. Now imagine yourself breathing in that inner and outer light, and as you exhale, imagine yourself releasing all shadows of doubt. And whisper to yourselves, I am made of stars. I am remembering my light. Okay, so we'll proceed forward to section 2, which is cosmic reflection. And I hope you guys have all written down one word or phrase that came to mind after the meditation. And if you could share that word for me in the comments of this live stream, of this video, or of this course memo. So that will serve as your first spark in this realm of discovering the star that you are. So moving on to the next section, cosmic reflection, the meaning of lights. What does your inner light mean to you? Well, let's ask ourselves a few questions on what that means. Like, when was the last time you felt fully alive? Now, what does that mean, fully alive? We're all alive, but like, I guess you can say, when's the last time you felt an exuberant amount of joy or excitement, or you felt motivated just to do whatever, whenever, because you wanted to? And if you haven't felt that recently, or you're feeling it now, discuss with yourself for a moment, what does it feel like to feel that way? Can you describe it using words? For example, I am feeling joyful because I'm able to finally release the first lesson of the first course of my brand new school, and that makes me want to speak to you guys in such a cadence that I'm able to get it across to you so that you can awaken the very same energies within yourselves to inspire yourselves and empower yourselves to do these things. So after thinking on that for a moment, ask yourself this next question. What moment made you realize your power or potential? What moment made you realize your power or potential, or have you yet realized your power or potential? So essentially, power is only potential. And so with every amount of potential that you have a select amount of power. And that power can be used as a commodity for different things, like inspiring yourself or inspiring others or empowering others, hopefully all good. We don't like to control people here. That's not the point of this. You're not using your powers to control others, but rather you're using it to influence yourself to do what's best for yourself and everybody around you. That's what the point of this should be. So when we say, what moment made you realize your power potential? Did you just now realize it, or have you realized it recently? Think about that moment and hold it with you as we proceed forward. Now think about this question. What is an inner light? What is a light? And if you can answer that with yourself, what does it feel like when your light dims? And when it does dim, how do you reignite it? What are we talking about when we say you are a light, you are a star? I mean, stars provide light. Stars are masses of energy and heat circulating and exploding at intense velocities and combustions that we can barely even scale. So, what is your inner light? It's kind of something like that when it comes down to it. It's something undescribably beautiful or buoyant in nature, meaning that the light bounces off the surface of the world around us and gives us color and texture and all different kinds of things. So, what does it feel like when that light dims? And how do you reignite it within yourself? Do you have a purpose, or do you have a definite will or a plan of action, so to speak, to reignite it when it dims? And are you aware when it dims? Maybe somebody else is dimming your light, or maybe you're dimming your own light without realizing it. I encourage you to share your short responses or draw a symbol that represents your light and share it in the comments or the chat, or the comments of the live stream or on the course memo. So I just want to remind you too that the light that you seek isn't external validation, first of all. It's the quiet, creative force that keeps you moving even when nobody is watching. Okay? Your light is not something you earned. It's something you remember. So remember that. Your light is bound with faith, and it's something that is remembered, like a reminder. This is your light. Alrighty, section 3, the cosmic truth, the spark philosophy. In this section, we briefly touch on how every being is a star in human form, a creative energy with infinite potential. Now, that's saying a lot, but let's think about it for a second. A creative energy with infinite potential. Well, I wouldn't go as far as infinite, but you can say that about yourself because that's your creative energy. I myself would say there's the finite and the infinite, and I am a star in human form. I also object to that as well, or subject rather. And so what that means to you is going to vary, but what it means to me, I can give you an idea, is that we are these massive, powerfully massive entities of light and spiritual essence that bathe and cloak the universe and the cosmic celestial entities with its brilliance. You know, it's something beautiful, something that you can talk up and build upon. And it really comes back to the observer in how they see you as a star, or how you see yourself as a star, or how you can talk yourself up, essentially, kind of like how I just did. You can say something that is honestly demeaning, maybe to somebody else if you said it to them, but if you said it to yourself, it wouldn't be. And that's what we mean by a star. And bound with that are all of these other different particles and pieces of you that are constantly interacting, bouncing around on each other, exploding to create this massive energy and light force that is spilled out across the universe. That's what we mean by a star in human form. And so, in that essence, on that note, that very same note, the universe is a mirror, and when you shine, it reflects back abundance and alignments with the right intent. Like I said, we talked about power and potential earlier, and if you have the right intent behind your power and potential, you should be reflected back abundance and alignment and other beneficial things for your light essence. Another thing, faith is not blind to the cosmic truth. The cosmic truth is, it's basically seeing light before it's visible. So faith is not blind. You basically see with your faith the light before it's visible, meaning that you know that with your confidence or with your brilliance shining across the universe, you can use your light to illuminate the darkness to what is real to you or to those around you or to others. And then remembering your spark, of course, which is what we're doing in this course, is the first act of creation. So if If you guys want to jot some notes down on that, that's a really important one. I'm going to keep saying it. We're remembering our faith. We're remembering that we are stars, that we are the lights. And remembering the spark is the first act of your creation, It's that remembrance. And at that point, we combust into an eternal and ethereal presence. Remember, there's a universe inside of you waiting to be named. And we're doing that now. So, section 4, creation activation. The origin of yours and my lights. The objective of this one is to turn reflection of self into creative self-expression. There is an activity with this section 4. So I will give you guys some time to do that. You can pause the live stream. I will give you it, and then if you want to do it along with me, I may jump in here, do it with you guys for a second, and then proceed forward, but you can always come back to this point if need be. So the activity is to write your personal creation myth, the story of how your light began. So how did your light begin? How did you begin? How did the light within you begin? Create your own personal creation myth, and you can write it as a short poem, a cosmic parable, like a myth, or a narrative reflection, or something along those lines. Here are some prompts to inspire you. Before I was me, I was but a grain of dust. Or, my light was born that day. The day or the universe whispered and I became, or I am the spark that's. So those are just some starting points that you guys can kind of draw off of. Again, that was write your personal creation myth. A short poem, a cosmic parable, or a narrative reflection. Share it in the comments, guys, or send it to me in a DM. Share yourselves with this community, and let's get to know each other and see all of the wonderful things that come from our imaginations and within ourselves. And I do encourage poetic freedom. Let language be fluid, mythic, personal, and bold. Every word is a constellation. Alrighty, section 5, visualization, the birth of a star. So, we have ourselves once again visiting our meditative state. And I'd like to ask you guys to close your eyes again and imagine yourselves floating in the vastness of space. Dark, endless, still. Then a pulse of warmth rises within you, a flicker, a shimmer, a spark. Feel it growing, radiating through your chest, brighter, braver, bolder. See colors swirling, gold, violets, and blue forming galaxies around you, and whisper to yourself, I am light. I am here, and I am infinite. I am light. I am here, and I am infinite. So, with that, take this down as a journaling prompt. How did it feel to witness your light being born? And what does your star look like? What does it represent? The point of this section is to instill that imaginatory aspect of what you are. The light, the bringer of visibility, so to speak. A star. What does your star look like? What happened? How did you form? And if you guys want to go through that one more time, I do recommend it. Recommend going back in the video, doing it a couple times until you get something that you're satisfied with. And maybe if you want to share your prompts in the comments, How did it feel to witness your light being born? What does your star look like? What does it represent? I'm sure we would all love to see what you have to share. Alrighty. Share circle, section 6, the constellation of us. So, again, I invite you all to share your origin of your light piece. If you haven't gotten it finished yet, then of course after the video, or one insight from the visualization that we just did. So share your insight. Like, how did you feel? What did you learn about how you can imagine things, or how you can feel about you becoming that star that you're meant to be? And then encourage, we love positive affirmations. Excuse me, affirmations. So I encourage positive affirmations from everyone. Like, I see your light, you shine with strength, your story matters. This is all about empowerment and being the best version of yourself, being the most powerful entity of light beings that you can be. And we do that by reinforcing community connection here, and the idea that each star adds brilliance to the constellation. So build each other up, guys. Share yourselves with others and empower each other. And it's not always easy, but as we build this community, you'll be able to do it more and more naturally and fluidly and holistically, and it'll become a surreal experience that will make you better and better as a person. So let's do some reflection and integration in section 7. The closing journal prompts that I'd like you guys to take down are, what did you learn about yourself today? Very simple one. What did you learn about yourself? And what does being a star mean to you? What does being a star mean to you? So I explained a little bit about what being a star means to me, and I could probably go on with it even more. But I want to know, what does being a star mean to you? And how can you keep the spark alive in your daily life? That spark, that beauty that you see when you close your eyes and imagine your radiance and your brilliance bursting into colors and bursting into existence. And here's our closing affirmation for today. I am the spark that lights worlds. I trust my path. I shine with purpose. Finally, we have a creative project, guys, and it's called The Star Within. In your own time, create a visual creation of your spark. Maybe use AI, maybe use a drawing tablet, maybe use a pencil and paper, color pencils, markers, and so on. And then if you guys want to share it in the comments, that'd be amazing. A written piece. Refine your origin of light story from earlier in this video into a short poem or spoken word performance. And then, of course, share that where you can. Like I said, this community is going to be awesome. We'll lift you up. We'll bring you to greater heights of being and help you to feel good about what you have to offer. We raise people up here. We empower them. We help them. Their voices get heard. So don't be shy with your written piece. Sound expression. The third assignment is to create a voice note or music loop that feels like your inner light's rhythm. So a voice note or music loop that feels like your inner light's rhythm. So like mine would probably be something like boom dum 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 bum bum dum bum bum dum dum bum 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 bum. So just a little rhythm. Maybe turn that poem into that rhythm, or use that rhythm for that poem. Alrighty, and the big key takeaway here is that the journey does not begin when you find your light. It begins when you remember it never left. Remember at the beginning, I said it's not something you lose when you're a kid or gain when you're an adult. It's something that you remember was always there. Alrighty, well, that concludes lesson 1 of our course. I am so grateful for you guys to have joined me for this throughout this entire thing and been with me through it all. It's such an amazing experience. Again, I will leave this on the new school platform and provide a link for everybody who's watching the live stream to be able to go and support it. I appreciate all the support you guys have to offer for building these things. We have 5 more lessons to go in this course, so that means 5 more awesome videos about empowerment and discovering the personal light being that you are. You are stars. You are a star. Remember that. Take Kriss A Starr with you in your hearts. Guys, leave me comments about how you felt about the video, if you enjoyed it, if you felt like I could improve it. I do respond very promptly, and I always appreciate the feedback. So thank you, guys, and stay brilliant.